Hi everyone, here is a quick tutorial on the basics of Desmos and how to get started using it in your classroom. First, you'll want to go to teacher.desmos.com and you can definitely search for activities and start looking at some activities without creating an account. But once you find one that you want to use, you're going to want to create an account so you can track those activities. So you can just click create an account and sign up that way. I'm just going to go ahead and sign in because I have an account already. All right, and once you're signed in, again, you can search over here by topic in some featured collections, and you can even search in the search bar here for activities. It is mainly math activities, but they have started to build out their other content activities as well as general starter screens. You see here, here's their sort of collection of starter screens, which is the one that we're going to talk about in our staff meeting. There's different screens for checking in, checking for understanding, and I wanted to share that anything that you guys see on here is editable. And to do that, just click on an activity and you can check out the activity down here. This is what it will look like for your students. You can even do a student preview to see what they would see. And then you would just come up here to these three dots and click copy and edit. When you do that, it essentially becomes your own and you can make any edits that you like. So the one I wanted to show you, I provided the link in our meeting and on that PowerPoint. So you would just go to the link, and here I've shared the link with you so you can do these three drop downs, and it's become, you're going to want to copy and edit it to make it your activity. And you'll see it here just like you see mine. If you scroll down, you'll go to this drop down arrow and click single session code. There are other things you can do as far as assigning to your classes. You can have students create accounts and all of that. But I've found the easiest way to sort of just get your feet wet and start using Desmos is to do a single session code. It's very similar to like a quizzes code or a Kahoot code or a game kit code. It's a single session Desmos code. So once you do that, you've sort of created the session here, and this is the code. I always click View Dashboard, and then this is what you can share with your students. Typically, I'll do a screenshot of this and put it into my lesson when we're going to have a Desmos activity, and you would copy and give your students this link for the activity. Or you could give them this code, and they would go to student.desmos.com and enter the code. Whatever you find is easier. I find it's easier just to give them the link. So I'm going to go and pretend I'm a student and show you. So like I was mentioning earlier, they can certainly create accounts, but I found just with all the different username and passwords students have, it's easier not to. There are some benefits for students creating accounts. It will save all the activities that they've done in one place, but as the teacher, you're going to have access to all of the activities, whether or not they create an account. So I've found in general for them, it's easier just to come here and click continue without signing in. So that's what you would instruct your students to do. And as they start to use Desmos more, you're not really going to have to remind them that. They're going to know the drill. So they do not have to sign in with Google. They do not have to sign in with Desmos. They can click continue without signing in. And this is where you would instruct them to enter the name how you see fit. I've been doing first initial, last name. You can also do last name, first initial, kind of up to you. If you do last name, first initial, it's easier to sort by last name. So if you're going to be using it for any assessment tools, that's something to keep in mind. Click go. So now this is me as a student. So here I am. I get to I see the activity and I'm going to participate. So I'm just going to click and do what it says. It says drag the point to show how you're feeling. Whoop. And then I can share that with the class. They'll navigate to the next slide using this next button. and continue to do the activity as you've asked them to do. All right, so this is, again, the student side. Now I wanted to show you the teacher side. So you can see here, you now see your student that's logged in. You'll see your roster of students all down here as they log in. I also use this sort of as a check-in for zombies. You know, we've kind of talked about that before. Last year, we were able to keep track of students as far as their participation goes. And so I'm sort of checking my new row roster against the Desmos roster as they're logging in and saying, okay, oh, thanks, Andrew. I see you're logged in. Thanks, Tiffany. You know, and I'll be like, oh, you know, Jonathan, how are you doing? Do you need some help logging in? So it's kind of a good checkpoint. And I know it's harder to do with the larger class sizes, but it is sort of something, a tool I've been using to help with the zombies. And you'll see as they're on each of the different screens, like there's one student here, that's myself. So you'll be able to sort of see visually as they're going through your activity. You can pause them. So if you want to sort of guide the activity through the slides, you can pause them to restrict which slides they're on. You can also anonymize the students. If you click this anonymize button, it's going to turn your entire class roster into famous mathematician names. So I love doing this once because it's kind of cool, but also it allows me to then screen share. So once I anonymize all the names, I can screen share to show the students sort of what their classmates are thinking and what their classmates are doing. So I'll just click this slide here and I'll screen share. And when you do that, you'll see all of your students' responses here. So you can use them as discussion tools as you're sharing within the classroom. This overlay button is insanely cool. If you click overlay, of course, it's not going to show here, but it will show every single student's response on the same screen, on the same grid. And that kind of helps us look at trends and allows the students to see what their classmates are feeling overall in this example. So let's see, if we go back to this D here, it'll take you back to Desmos. Loading. If you've created some collections, it's just kind of a way for you to organize your activities. I have a few collections, algebra, art, bookmarks, things like that. But also, if you forgot to put it in your collection, just go to your history and you'll see here it is at the very top, checking in. So I can click that and it'll sort of bring me right back to my activity. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm happy to help you guys with anything that you need with Desmos. As with anything, as you start to use it, you'll learn that it can do so much more than sort of the intro video I've provided here. But hopefully you might feel comfortable in just sort of starting out with that session code and allowing students to log in and seeing what their classmates are feeling as well. Another cool thing before we go is once you have more responses in here, obviously it's just me, just Jamie, but you can go to this little camera here and let's say, you know, you thought my response was really insightful and you wanted to make sure you shared it and talked about it. You could click this little snapshot and it moves it to the snapshot screen. So as you're sort of filtering through, maybe you decided not to screen share with everyone at this point, but you're scrolling through all the class options or responses and you're clicking the ones that you want to help you lead your discussion, and you click these little camera icons and it will grab them and put them all in the snapshot screen area for you, and then you can click and drag. It's like kind of whatever you're feeling to guide the discussion and the instruction, you can pull in here and then present it and then screen share if you'd rather do that. So it's kind of just another way to present student responses. Again, any questions you guys have, I'm here for you, and I hope that this